Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today's November 20th, 2019, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the day, starting out at 3:30 South African time out of Canada, we have a monthly CPI number coming out. Now, I would say that this is an important number since the Canadian dollar has gotten significantly more weak. Okay, looking at the rest of the day, we have at 7 o'clock out of the United States FOMC meeting minutes, and that's a follow-up to the last rate decision. However, looking at the markets, we're taking a look at the majors, including the euro and the GBP, retrace at resistance versus the US dollar. Like I mentioned before, Canadian dollar weakens. We're going to take a look at that and see some options and see what we can do there. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, we finally get our sell-off from our all-time highs. Only 200 points. That's why I call it sharply in parentheses. But it is significant going into the holiday weekend next week, into Thanksgiving. Now, looking at the currencies as a response, gold strengthens while oil remains consistent with the Dow Jones and sells off sharply. We're going to take a look at that as well. Looking at the stocks, however, this is kind of funny because when the market sells off, Facebook decides to break out higher and break out of its resistance level, showing us some relative strength there. JP Morgan remains strong as well, and we're going to take a look at the other stocks as well. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, it continues to trickle down after China announced that it was going to adopt blockchain. We mentioned that and we saw that spike, and then finally it's returning to its initial spot. But let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're jumping here into the Euro USD at a 4-hour chart. You can see we're right there at that resistance, 110.79, and just trading just below it. Okay, there's nothing jumping at me right now saying this is a buy or saying this is a sell. I'm just taking this in. Looking, however, at the GBP USD, if it is any indication, okay, it's actually much weaker. It sold off a little bit sharper, okay, and this is a bona fide resistance level. Now, going into the next couple of sessions, I think we're going to continue trading within this ranges, okay, until there's some sort of outside impetus to take us out either higher or lower. But for now, I think we're going to continue trickling down here going into today's session, not trading with tremendous volume, okay? We've been in a very tight range, and we're I think gonna continue being in a tight range going into this week because there's nothing really indicating otherwise. Now, looking at the USD Canadian dollar, this has gotten much weaker versus the USD, okay, and this is really back of a couple of things. Canadian economy is not doing so great, and number two, the price of oil has gone down sharply, and that affects the Canadian economy tremendously, okay? So we still have a way to go to resistance at 133.26-ish level, so keep that in mind. Now, today or tomorrow is going to be the telltale sign if this was just a spike, just to be a correctional spike, but I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because oil really sold off with some momentum and with some volume, okay? So this is very much correlated to the price of oil, so keep that in mind. Now, looking at the price of gold, we actually saw this get a little bit stronger, okay, as the Dow Jones actually sold off. We're getting closer to our resistant-ish level. So I'd be looking and thinking more, think to sell short here. Not necessarily at this level, but if it does inch us up a little bit higher, I would be looking to actually sell this going into this week, next week. And the reason I say that is that historically the Dow Jones rallies between Thanksgiving, which is a major holiday next week in the United States on Thursday, into Christmas, into New Year's. Okay, so with that said, I expect also gold to make a correctional move as well. So keep that in mind as we go into this session and the next couple of sessions. Now, looking at the price of oil. Now, if you guys remember, we had over a month ago, we had this major spike right here. Okay, this gap up. And this was really due to the fact that the oil refineries in Saudi Arabia were attacked, presumably by Iran, and we bounced over $6-7 in that one day. Okay, now since then we have corrected ourselves, and you could pretty much call it a fade opportunity. It happened right away. Okay, and now we're right back to those levels initially where we first opened up. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to mention here. Number one, we are much further ahead in the winter season, and the fact that oil is selling off is very uncharacteristic, which means that there is stockpiles. However, we're still trading within this range, okay? So as long as we're not, picking up some steam, picking up some momentum on the downside, I think we'll continue ranging and still trading within this range. Now, the Dow Jones selling off here, as you can see, these three, big candles, okay, relatively big candles from 28,000 to 28,850-ish level. Now it's a 200-point sell-off. Can it be the beginning of something? Yes. Okay. However, going into next week, we generally sell off up until Thanksgiving. We make that correctional move. What I anticipated was between Thanksgiving and the end of the year, we'll continue rallying. Okay. So this momentary relapse or this momentary, profit taking is just that. Now, when I do look at the stocks, let's jump into Facebook. Okay, that's one of our FANG stocks. We broke out here. Okay, we broke out from our resistance-ish area of 196 to 198. Now, we do have a highs of 205. We're only 10 or 7 points away from that. There's 2 points to take away from this. Even though that Facebook is facing a lot of challenges on the background, okay, some regulatory issues and some of the issues they have with Libra and being regulated and all that, it's still going higher, which means that sales are doing okay. All right, so I want to highlight that again because it's finally Facebook that's actually catching up with the market. Now, looking at the rest of the market, JP Morgan, almost all-time highs. Google takes a little bit of a retracement to 1309 from its 1325, 28-ish high. Okay, so this is within reason. Okay, it's definitely profit taking. It's not a major sell-off. Okay, but you do want to play it safe the next couple of days because it's choppy trading around this area because we're all-time highs. Okay, or very close to it. Now, lastly, I want to jump into Bitcoin, which we've seen this be a tremendous trade. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. This was when China said that it would adopt blockchain, okay, and it really made Bitcoin rally tremendously from 7,300-ish level to 9,700-ish level. And since then, we've just been trickling down. So this was a great fading opportunity. We broke our support here, okay, which was our previous support. And this is our subsequent resistance. Okay, so it's trading with character. This is what I'm talking about. And we're getting very close to our support level at 7840-ish level. So this may be a point where we turn around, okay? Because we were really just hugging that area right before we spiked up. Okay, so this could potentially be an area where we bounce off of. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we go into today's session. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day.